Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a relatively short video and a continuation of a series called Understanding Forex, in which we explain different Forex strategies, concepts, and indicators. In this video, we're going to be going over what types of news to look out for when trading Forex. So let's get started. There are many things that goes on in the economy, from GDP growth to job reports to inflation or housing sales. So as a trader, it's our job to decide which one should get our attention. Some traders believe that news doesn't play a role in their trade. I don't necessarily agree with that, but if it works for you, then who am I to say anything? In my experience though, news, more specifically high impact news, affects the pairs I trade a lot. So there are three types of news. There is low impact, medium, and high impact news. I usually don't pay attention to the first two. My main focus is usually only on high impact news. In terms of site you could use, a lot of traders on different forums I've joined all use Forex Factory. I personally use my FX book. I also have the app on my phone, which makes it easier to keep track of news. The only reason being it's what I started with, and I haven't had a reason to switch yet, so I'm just gonna keep using it. Plus, this is just my opinion, but the interface feels more modern and easy to understand. But either one is honestly completely fine. Also, I'm not sponsored by either one of them, so feel free to try each one out and see which one you like better. So high impact news is what I recommend most people to pay attention to, but in my opinion, not all high impact news are the same. So for example, from what I've seen, high impact news like CPI, JOLTS, non-farm payroll, and anything with the US Federal Reserve or Jerome Powell usually moves pairs and indices more than other high impact news. Also keep in mind, I trade 99% USD pairs, with the only outlier being pound yen. So initial jobless claim that comes out every Thursday usually don't have that much of an effect, as well as like personal income like reports or consumer sentiments or goods and balance and etc. from what I've seen. So the ones where I'm not too sure of are like GDP reports and PCE reports, because sometimes they have an effect, but sometimes they don't. So it's like you gotta just fill those ones out if it affects your pair or what you're trading. So for example, things like Aussie news, I don't usually pay attention to that. I usually pay attention to just USD news, mainly because US is the world reserve currency, it's the global powerhouse, and it's just a influential economy. So I usually just follow news from USD pairs, so things like unemployment change, unemployment rates for a pound. I don't usually follow it, but they could have an effect on pound pairs. So things like this one, for example, CPI, core inflation, inflation rate, core CPI, those ones usually move the market, so I don't usually trade those ones. PPI, not as much. Continuous jobless claims, these ones not as much. Consumer sentiment, not as much. CPI Canada, sometimes it does move Canadian pairs, but again not as often, at least from my experience. Retail sales, not as much as well. So federal rate decisions, FOMC projections, Fed conference, those ones 100% is going to move the market, so I'm not going to trade. Initial jobless claims, like always. Existing home sales, not as much. Inflation rate for yen actually sometimes does move the yen pairs, so like GJ or like dollar yen. Inflation rate year over year does affect the yen, so depending on what is said, as well as the Bank of Japan interest rate decision. And let's see if we can find more high impact news. S&P Global Service, not as much. And for the looks of it, durable goods, not as much. GDP growth, not as much. Core PCE, maybe for core PCE, but the last time it came out, which was I think last week, it didn't really affect the markets all that much. So these are just my opinion, by the way. Don't take what I'm saying right here as fact and run with it. Do your own research, do your own due diligence, keep a lookout on what to trade and how it moves when certain news drop to see how it correlates with that. So that's going to be it for this video. If you like what you saw, please give the video a like, subscribe to see more videos like this, share it to friends you think might need it. Leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, inputs, and I will see you guys next time.